Greetings my movie geeks. Following on from last week's In Defense of Terminator Salvation, I just want to talk about the original ending for Terminator Salvation and the implications of that and why it would have worked. Now, the original ending is John Connor is killed by the T-800 that attacks inside the Skynet facility. He's then saved by Marcus and taken out of the Skynet facility. They destroy Skynet, getting back to the ground. Here, he dies, and then they have the great idea of continuing John Connor's legacy by grafting his skin onto Marcus's metal body, because obviously he's a Terminator, and they mentioned throughout the film that he's got a strong heart, so he will survive. The ending that we saw was that Marcus gives up his heart to allow John to survive. But in this, Marcus would go through the surgery. John Connor's skin would be grafted on his face. But you'll see some images of what they were going to do. So he wakes up from surgery, and he's now John Connor. He's got the scars that were put on his face that we saw in Terminator 2. But this is where it all goes to shit, and this is what I love about it, is Marcus's Skynet programmings turn on, and he takes a gun and kills everyone, including Kate, Bryce Dallas Howard, Kyle Reese, Anton Yelchin, and all the others. They're all dead. You can see them in the images. They're all dead. He then gets dressed and leaves, and there's a red glint in his eye. Now, I like this ending. It completely turns everything on its head. It makes the whole timeline messed up, because where's it going to go? How is he going to send Kyle Reese back to impregnate Sarah to then allow John to live? It messes with the timeline. It makes it a paradox. But this is what I like, because why can't it all be part of the original plan? So Sarah Connor is going on her second date in the original Terminator film. We don't know who this guy is, but he stands her up. How do we know that he wasn't just a dog of a bloke and got what he wanted on the first date? What I'm saying is, how do we know that that guy wasn't John Connor's actual father? Sarah Connor had sex with him, got pregnant with him, and then he never turned up again. And then she's attacked by the Terminator, saved by Kyle. They end up having sex. And the belief from everyone is that Kyle Reese is the father.
Come with me if you want to live.
When he's actually not. So, she's already pregnant. Kyle Reese comes. Poor choice of words. He saves her, then he dies. She then raises John. She gets locked up. Terminator 2 happens. They avert Judgment Day. It does change. We see that. They tell us that. Terminator 3 happens. It's all slightly different. It's the Judgment Day is happening later. John isn't as much of a leader as he's supposed to be, because Terminator 2 averted Judgment Day. And then we get Salvation, which changes the timeline, but I don't think it does. What I think it actually does is continues the timeline. So Terminator 2 changes it, and it continues. Terminator 3 happens, Salvation happens, and John Connor dies. His skin is grafted onto Marcus. Marcus goes, he leaves, he kills the resistance there, and he goes. How do we know that Marcus isn't then changed? We already see in the film that he follows his programming, and then he pulls out the chip and stops his programming. How do we know that doesn't happen? If we had a second film following on from the original ending, I could see it being that he turns good. So John Connor's there, he turns good. He knows how Skynet works, because he is Skynet, has a link into the Skynet system. He knows where they are, how to attack, what their plan is, that they're doing time travel to try and John becomes John Connor as we know in Terminator 2. Now, I say this because in the very small instance that we see arguably the best iteration of John Connor on camera, in Terminator 2's opening, we see him stand there. He comes out, he's using binoculars, he's looking around. But when he goes into the fire, when the fire starts and he's looking around, watch that scene. Because John Connor in Terminator 2, the adult one with the scar, looks fairly robotic. He's looking around. He's like that. I am arguing that that is Marcus. He is John Connor because he starts fighting for the resistance. And that's how it all starts. You could say that, but he sends Kyle Reese back and Kyle Reese is dead. How do we know that that Kyle Reese is still that Kyle Reese? He could have sent anyone back. Doesn't matter. But it's just a theory. So if you enjoyed this, if you want to argue with me, let me know in the comments what you thought below. I think Marcus is John Connor in Terminator 2. And that ending would have worked in Salvation. I'm the Ultimate Movie Geek. Next week we'll have another In Defense Of. Next week it's going to be Terminator Genesis. So we'll see you next Wednesday. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be notified every Wednesday when our videos are released. Thanks for watching.